Oh, actually, I say that. Let me make sure I have my correct books, because that would be helpful. Now that I'm... Of course, there's always got to be one thing that, if I was smart, I would have like, yes, I'm 100% ready to go, and then, oh, there it is. Why did I put it at the bottom? Oh, God! I have been doing a great job organizing my bookshelf, but for some reason I put The Enemy in Shadows at the very bottom of all of the Wolfrit books, because I need to find a place for them. Okay. So, last time, we left off with, y'all had arrived in the town, city. It's more of a town. It's growing into a city. It's definitely kind of like a farm. Was just kind of a notable port that mainly got a lot of its trade as a like a farming area. Sent out a lot of different things that they made themselves in Weisbrook, but it has been expanding quite rapidly in recent years, and this Weisbrook welcomed you with open arms after you had made the merry journey down the Reich and experienced a little bit of weirdness with the whole thing of Dorthandrel's chest wound miraculously vanishing, though whether that's good or bad is up to your interpretation. And within Weisbrook, you stopped at the Black Gold Inn after you noticed a strange individual. This fellow, just to do a brief reminder, not the most pleasant looking individual, but he was mean mugging y'all pretty hard from the docks, almost as if he knew you. And after a little bit of cajoling of your memories, some of you realize that you have in fact seen this man before back in Altdorf. But in your attempts to pursue him in the Black Gold Inn, he was no longer there. After a series of shenanigans, you eventually pursued him to the Trumpet Inn, where you found him conversing with three, shall we say, suspicious-looking individuals. After a bit of back and forth and a particularly interesting speech by Hurls, Astaroth making himself a little bit of a notorious figure, y'all fell back to the Black Gold Inn, and the night was going kind of according to plan, and then you were interrupted by one of those suspicious individuals, being a small man by the name of Bengt. And Bengt came to you swearing up and down, left and right, by his name and his father's name and his mother's name, if he knew them, that he had information on where the Manticore is, the Manticore that you started off this journey in pursuit of, and said that he could lead you to where him and his fellows had tracked it to its lair, in the hopes that maybe with all, 7 of you, that you would be able to overwhelm the creature, kill it, and collect the bounty, and maybe make a whole lot of money, because that's supposedly what they had been hired to do by the mysterious man in black. But nonetheless, that's kind of where we left off, was he led you into up past the canal and into the Reichwald. Are there any questions, concerns, thoughts, worries before we get into it? Going once. Going twice. Okay, the only thing I need to remember is how the hell to unpause the stupid game. Oh, spacebar. Haha! Alright. I'm learning. So, you are being led into the forest by Bengt. So, it's very, very late, or very, very early, depending on how you want to look at it. It's, y'all are creeping into that midnight, just past midnight area. There's no easy way to say for sure. There is a decent, not awesome, but a little bit of light being provided, just a sliver of light being provided by Manslib, and Morslib's not particularly helpful either, though that's honestly for the best, as its light always comes with more weird and uncertain feelings. So there's not a ton of light out in the sky, but there's enough to navigate by without the need for torches. A fair amount of ambience light is still kind of coming from Weissbrook behind you, though that does make the shadows kind of extra long and unpleasant. Is there anything any of you want to do as you are marching through the forest following Bengt, who the whole time he's just muttering, like not even muttering really, he's adding very unnecessary consistent commentary the entire time about what he's going to do with his share of the gold, saying, I think that I'm going to head downriver, and I'm going to go to one of those little places, one of those little towns no one's ever heard of, and when I get there, I'm going to set myself up as a lord. I'm going to be one of those noble types. He doesn't seem to have a great understanding of necessarily how that would work, but, he's got the heart in the right place.
I'll turn to Sigmund as we're walking this quietly between the two of us and say, I'm having a little bit of deja vu. Didn't we do something similar to this somewhere near Delbert's? And it was a trap?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, this should be okay.
Yeah. I don't think we've learned our lesson. But we'll see. I don't have...
We'll learn it for the third time.
Yeah.
Jesus, almost dropped my water on myself. So, you continue making your way through the forest. And as you do so, what I would like is for y'all to establish a marching order, if you'd be so kind.
No.
For no reason in particular. You're not in any danger. Nothing will happen. So if you could all just drag your tokens like here into the river, and yeah, okay. I was like,
it does work.
How do you do it?
You literally just click your character token under the actors and drag it onto.
And we'll do top is in front, bottom is in back. What would you like your marching order to be?
Don't mind me.
Gas Rush would probably be first.
Sure. Could I roll furry perception, or I don't know if like outdoor survival or tracking would apply here to just see if I notice anything around, or if I notice other footsteps or other footprints in the ground, kind of thing. Because I have my suspicions.
I'll do you all one better. Everyone can roll me a challenging perception check, unless you have night vision, in which case it will be average.
And then we still got our +1 to that.
Dorothandrel, you have acute sense sight, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you really didn't even need to roll. So, as you're all marching along through the forest following Bengt, and he's rambling on, and now he's gotten into how musing to himself how many different women he could potentially set up to be salaried at some kind of local whorehouse once he establishes his own little domain and realm. And he's kind of arguing himself over the merits of, like, do you have to pay more for, like, redheads versus raven-haired girls? And, like, where would he try and hire them from? Does he want to try and get local girls, or does he not want to deal with the potential ramifications of their families and look for something a little more exotic? Like, he's really somewhere else. But he is nonetheless leading you unerringly, and he seems to know where he's going. Like, he's not wandering side to side or anything like that. He is on course. Dorothandrel, you are the first to notice. Bengt doesn't seem to say anything, likely because he has not noticed, being distracted as he is. But as you are meandering through the forest, Dorothandrel, you, every once in a while, there's like, despite the fact there's very little light, there's just enough because you're, elf. You are able to pick out little flashes of red. And you see that every like couple, maybe like dozen or 24 yards or so, there's like a patch of red fur caught in a bush or caught up on a branch hanging there. And you see this, like, these little consistent markings of that same red fur that Bengt had showed to you, caught kind of around the area in clumps. Now, and as you notice this, those of you that passed also notice this as well, though you do not quite see to what extent, as Dorothandrel does. Dorothandrel, you see that it is a very consistent, let's say, application of this fur around this particular part of the forest. And the further you go, the more of it is starting to show up. The rest of you just see, like, the occasional clump, but, like, there's definitely something matching all of that lives out here. Or someone did a very, very thorough job making it look that way.
So would you say it doesn't look natural? It almost looks...
I would say it looks rather natural. Like something has been moving through this part of the forest for a very long time. And as it's moved through the forest over the years, little pieces of its fur have fallen off or gotten caught and pulled, or have been removed due to grooming or what have you, and have kind of situated themselves. Though, that being said, it is there is a weird amount of it. And in fact, Dorothandrel, you got a +4. Dorothandrel, as you hear Bengt say, "Oh, we're getting rather close. It's just up here, around like a small bend, and then you'll see the cave." You notice that some of these clumps of fur, the ones that definitely look more fresh, like you're able to like, they're not weighed down by the various effects of nature over time. Like they're not terribly, like, where some of the fur you see is like hanging very, very like lank because it's gotten like wet and moldy and all this stuff over with time. You do see some what look like very fresh clumps, almost like the clump that Bengt was holding. And what catches your eye with your +4 is that on one of the end of it, likely where it was probably initially attached to the creature, some of them are black. And as you walk by one particular clump and are able to take a much closer look at it, you realize that blackness appears to be essentially old blood.
I reach out to Sigmund and tap him on the shoulder. Just 1 second.
I'll tap Astroth that we're stopping.
Alright.
This is within reach. It's not like stuck on a tree above us.
No. This particular clump that you have decided to stop for is well within reach.
Okay. Astaroth, there
Yes.
is a clump of that fur right there. Could you take a look? It looks like there's blood on it. Or old blood.
Could I roll a lore beast for that, GM?
Yes, you can roll Lore Beast. It is going to be, I want you to roll Lore Beast, but it is going to be a -10 check.
Okay.
Because you are not familiar with this beast.
Is that a recent boon, do you think?
Well, would outdoor survival be more applicable to that? Towards Dorothandrel's question, then, you think? To determine, like, if it was recent or...
I'll put it this way. if you want to just worry about like the fur and nothing else, you could just roll. You don't even need to roll for that. I'll just tell you. But if you, because you're trained in lore beasts, but if you want to try and garner some deeper information, you need to roll for the lore beasts.
Okay.
Okay, so you're not going to get the deeper information unless you want to reroll.
No, not rerolling.
Okay. So, what you can tell is this definitely came from some sort of creature. This is not manufactured. Or if it was manufactured, it was manufactured by someone whose skill rivals on just absolute insanity. But what it looks like to you, being trained in knowledge of beasts and tracking of beasts, is that from your estimation, this looks like a creature was wounded, but for this large of a clump of fur to have come off, and for there to be a very consistent kind of sheen or application of blood where it must have been attached to the creature's hide, whatever hit it or damaged it must have had significant force behind it.
Okay, and does it look recent, or has it been there a while? Like, is it dry and faded, or is it still?
It's
fresh?
like it's past the point of being congealed, but it is still relatively fresh. Like you could it's had time to dry, but it has not had time. It hasn't. It hasn't
Like a day.
actually. Hold on. Let me roll before I say this next bit. Let me make sure that what I'm about to say is actually correct. I'm gonna roll the weather real quick.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna turn my dice cheats back on. Just give me a second.
I mean, I was enjoying the lack of them.
Okay, we are in the very early spring. Delightful. It's raining. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Of course it is.
yeah, well, yeah, it's Reichland in spring. the most likely result you're going to get is rain. That being said, it's not like a super heavy rain. Y'all are in the forest. It's really not that bad. However, this does apply to the wound knowledge, which is that the thing that really strikes you, Astaroth, is despite the rain, this clump is not like all washed out. It is certainly wet, but it's not. It has not been in the rain for more than a day.
So I'll take the clump of fur from Darthandril and I'll look at it and I'll turn to him and say, "You see how large this thing is?"
Ben's gonna turn around and go, "Oi, what's the hold up?"
Hey, hold on a second. The fact that this much fur it came off of let's say a creature was wounded. The fact that I'm holding this much fur from a wound goes to show that whatever caused this is a big creature. As far as its freshness, it's kind of hard for me to say with the current weather, but I would say a day, maybe more, that it's been out here, because the blood is, even though it's not congealed anymore, it's still, even with the weather, if you notice when the water hits it, it starts to run. So I would say it's been out here for maybe 24 to 36 hours. And whatever caused it is a large creature. So perhaps, maybe it is the Manticore, or it could be something else. That, though, I'm not sure.
But this is... Dorthard will pause and look at Astaroth and look at the clump. How do you tell what kind of wound it is from a clump of hair?
Just the size. I don't know what type of wound it is or what caused it, but just the size of the amount of fur that is off this animal means that something bigger than the animal that was wounded would have had to have taken a clump off of this size off of the animal.
Not necessarily, but also not a completely unreasonable assumption. Like it could have been just like someone that is particularly skilled with a large weapon struck it, or it was shot with something quite large, like a bolt thrower.
Ballista, yeah.
Yeah. Unlikely, but possible.
Yeah.
It's just whatever hit it had
force.
Had a reasonable. It was very strong and had a decent like surface to area ratio.
Okay. So I'm not an animal guy out in real life. I don't know.
It's okay. I don't think an animal guy in real life would be able to tell you what I told you anyway.
Yeah.
Oi, Bent.
Yeah.
If this is more recent, and your boys have been here for a while, you think they've seen anything?
Oh, what? Maybe. They're just a little ways ahead. We can go ask.
Sounds good to me. I look at the rest of the group.
Alright, that sounds good to me. Just can't help but think something is amiss.
All right. So, for reference, y'all have been, by the time you're coming up and Bent says, "Oh, it's just right around here," it's taking you about an hour to kind of walk out of town. You have been under the trees the entire time. The Reichwald is like one of the denser forests in the Empire. So you really haven't gotten wet at all. Like, you've gotten a little damp, but it's not like you're soaked through or anything along those lines.
Dorothandel's constantly muttering, 20 minutes. 20 minutes, he says.
As the crow flies, anyway. So as you, but you're out in the wilderness. Like, Weissbrook is. It would not be difficult for you. Well, actually, it'd probably be a little difficult for you to find your way back. But it wouldn't be terribly difficult. It hasn't been a particularly winding path. And now, Astaroth, I want you to roll me one more beast check. But this one is going to be challenging instead of -10, as you've gotten closer to the supposed lair. Moving on. So, as you, unless you want to fortune point it.
No.
By the way, make sure y'all have refreshed your fortune points for the session.
Thank you.
So, as you round this final little bend, you come to an area where there are this one. You kind of open up into a clearing where there's a bit of a. It's calling it a hill. It's more of like a very steep cliff into a hillside that does certainly have a big yawning cave mouth into it. And there are a number of trees kind of leading up to it that have, most of them have kind of withered away or have been knocked over or just haven't been able to find much in the way of purchase on the very, very rocky terrain that leads right up to this hill, which is in and of itself is basically just a titanically large boulder. But within this cave, that blackness yawning up for you, you do see torchlight flickering, and you can tell that there is definitely people up ahead. And Bet says, "Oh, all right, that's them. We're just a little further and we'll be there." But true to his word, there is a cave.
Be on your guard, lads.
I'll watch your back.
All right, as y'all approach the cave, Bent just kind of shouts out, "Oi! Oi!" Too late. You had your chance. He says, "We're here! We're back! I brought him!" Silence greets you at first. And Bent kind of jogs ahead a little. He says, "I'm back! What?" And you hear, "Took you long enough." And one particularly large individual comes looming out of the cave. He definitely catches your attention just due to the size difference. This man is large. And as he sort of looms out, he scratches up under his eye patch and looks and says, "So these are the monster killers."
Yeah, that's right.
Alright, come have a looks then. And he sort of just gestures into the cave with kind of like a wide sweeping arm.
What have you found so far? Surprised you walked out of the cave alive. There's a Manticore in there.
No Manticore in here, not yet. But there will be when it comes back. A lot of fur in here, a lot of bones. Little bits and bobs of people. Other critters.
It's a very large cave opening, right?
Oh yeah, massive. Like it's easily about it's easily like a 15 meter like yawning entrance.
Okay.
There, even if it is like a very, very large Manticore, it would fit pretty easily. And other things could fit very easily as well.
Okay. I guess we'll walk up to the entrance. See what we can see.
Alright, as you get within view of the larger man, Bengt finally gets out of the rain and says, "Oh, finally! I hate the rain. I hate it. That's why I want to go down south. They say it doesn't rain as much down by the Black Mountains, you know." And the larger man says, "Shut up, Bengt! Nobody cares!" Alright,
Well,
I was just saying.
So how did you track this Manticore to this location?
The larger man kind of moves his head to the sides and goes, "I ought to ask Willie about that.
Where's Willie?
She's a little further in."
What is the typical, perfectly legitimate and legal business that people use this cave for? Dorthan will give Bent a glance.
Ben sort of just Gert like scowls over at Bent, who just immediately looks at the ground. And Bent's the larger man, whose name is Gert, though you don't know that yet, has said, "That's none of your business. We're here to kill a beast and that's it. The rest of it don't involve you."
Well, I mean, if we're killing a beast from the cave you use.
True. You have requested the assistance of an outside party who, as I'm sure you know, as you sought us out, has 2 official delegates of sanctioned organizations in the Empire, so it would involve us to know what this cave is being used for.
He sighs and pinches at his bridge. He goes, I'll show you. Come on." And he walks
All right,
deeper
lads.
in.
Are we doing this?
Yep, let's go get murdered.
Let's do it.
Oh,
All right, so the 6 of you walk deeper into the cave, and this thing goes down. Like, it kind of catches you off guard at first because it's not like what you would expect for a cave, where it's just like a flat, you march in, you're done. It descends down a slope, and this is going to be Astaroth's. Actually, everyone else can roll a you do have torchlight in here, so roll a challenging perception. This is visual based, so you do get your acute sense sight elf. Astaroth, I want you to actually roll me a lore beast, but this one is going to be easy.
Okay.
does night vision affect this at all as well?
Sure, like you'll get your SL bonus from it.
Okay.
Yay! I finally got a success.
Oh, I do not want to hear that from you of all people.
So technically it's a +0 for me, but
Okay. So that's good enough for Astaroth. The thing that everyone else sees, but you're with your higher success and your further knowledge, you're able to apply a lot more to this as you're going into the cave and you're following behind. You're following around Gert, who's holding the only torch. They left one stationed back at the entrance. You notice a lot more of that red fur, but it's not really in clumps here though at all. Like it's just like strands all over the place. But what those of you who are not necessarily beast aligned pick up on very easily is that something definitely lives here. Because you do see various debris as you head deeper in, and a lot of it is like shards of bone. And a lot of those little strands of fur and the occasional like gouge in the rock from something. But for you, Astaroth, what you're able to actually put together is that whatever lived here was big. Not massive, but definitely quite a bit larger than a horse. So a very large creature. And it definitely has claws. You definitely are able to pick out quite easily very large, consistent claw marks in that have actually managed to gouge out some of the stone itself. Likely from the creature kind of scrabbling its way up this incline to get in and out from its lair. So, to put it very bluntly, you feel 100% confident that there is a monster with reddish fur that has claws that lives in this place. Or at least frequents this place.
Like a bear to me.
It's a lot bigger than a bear. If it is a bear, it is the biggest fucking bear you've ever heard
A
of.
monster bear, yeah. Okay. I will keep that information to myself for now.
You descend a little deeper down, and up ahead you see another torch. The thing that almost catches y'all a little bit about these guys is that they're operating on very little amounts of light. They seem to be trying to keep the light down to a minimum. Now, that does make a fair amount of sense if they are expecting to potentially encounter some kind of creature that they would want to make as little of a disturbance as possible. But it's also, despite the fact that the cave is quite large, as you go in, there are points where the ceiling dips a little lower. And as you're going deeper in, you do start to realize that smoke can very easily become a hazard in this place. If you have like just a ton of torches burning, it could very quickly become quite treacherous in here. That being said, as you descend down, you see a large, brutish individual waiting for you down at the bottom, and it is an incredibly large woman. She's not quite as tall as Gert, but she is she is far more filled out, shall we say, and has a very, very large, dangerous looking club situated by her side as she is sitting on a kind of a shelf of rock that overlooks what appears to be like the end of the cave. It's kind of a large, rounded out space, and there is significantly more of that reddish fur to be found. And she looks up and sees, and she goes, "Aye! Is that you lot? And Gert goes, yeah, it's us. We've got the hunters with us. And she just sort of nods. Will everyone roll me a perception check, please? It's going to be challenging. It is, your sight will not aid you, Elf, on this one.
All right.
Okay, Astaroth with the +4. All right, so as you all enter this cave, Astaroth, you are the only one who notices this. There is a weird smell in here. Not a beast smell. It's not the smell of death or the smell of refuse or any of that stuff. There's kind of it's almost kind of a there's just the slightest little tones of it's kind of like a sharp, unpleasant odor, but it's actually very hard to smell underneath all of the beast smell. There's something there, but it's unpleasant, but it's difficult for you to suss out what it really is. It has kind of a familiar smell to it, but you're not able to put your finger on it.
Okay. Can you allude to how do I word this? Is it a body odorish kind of thing, or is it
No, it's more of a
incense
it's
or
more of a
chemical
smell.
Okay, chemical smell. Okay, thank you. I guess we'll continue in, and I'll look at the woman and say, "Oi, we're here. What business do you have with us? Sure, you know who we are by now."
She kind of scans the lot of you, and she stands up and hefts the club over her shoulder. She says, "Which one of you's the panther?"
Me.
She sort of gestures. She goes, "Here's the nest. You're the monster hunter. You lot specialize in this sort of shit, right?"
Yes, that is correct.
"Well, we're here to help you hunt it. This is where it lives. Do your thing."
I know there's more to this, and you know there's more to this. What are you making down here?
Ooh, roll an opposed charm check.
Is it a regular charm
Actually,
check, or is that
you know
something
what?
else?
No. Roll me an intuition check. Is going to be challenging.
Okay.
Willie is going to roll. All right. Willie kind of she kind of looks at you a little weird. She and her eyes turn to Gert and Bengt, and particularly Bengt. And once again, he kind of mumbles something under his breath and looks down at the ground. And she says, "Our business here is none of your business. What we do or don't do in this cave is none of your concern. The thing that, although that in and of itself is kind of a suspicious sentence, the way she kind of hesitated before saying anything, kind of sets off an alarm bell in your head. You're not sure what. It is very difficult for you to think of what exactly about it is alarming, but something's off here."
GM, question for you.
Yeah.
They've been shouting loudly, have a campfire at the front of the cave. Does Dorthendrel think this is the behavior of humans who believe that an imminent return of a giant human-eating beast may occur?
No.
Or do they seem like they don't even care about something
They
might
seem-
be arriving?
They seem, as far as like, there are two options here. Either they are incredibly arrogant and incredibly stupid and far more confident in their abilities than they should be. Maybe they have no idea what this Manticore has done. And maybe they have fought similar creatures, or they've just not fought any of these creatures, and they really do not understand how dangerous they are. That is a very, very potential option. That it is typical human arrogance and stupidity. The other option is that maybe there used to be something that lived here, or maybe something that is not the Manticore lives here, and they know that, and they are taking advantage of that for some other reason. Now, which of those two options it is genuinely a very, very hard thing to tell for you, because they both seem pretty equally true. The first option relies on them being incredibly stupid. The second option relies on them being at least somewhat clever, so you're probably more inclined to lean towards the first one, but something is definitely suspicious here.
All right.
Well, ma'am, you say to do our thing. However, I mean, as I said, Matt, there's something wrong here. And I'm sure my other companions have noticed. But if you're really here to hunt a Manticore, or any creature for that matter, your entire band of companions here has been making noise and lighting torches, and that's not how you hunt or wait for your prey. I will ask you again, what is going on here? Do you have business with us? Do you need something from us?
I need you.
What is it?
Okay,
Go ahead.
I need you. Actually, all of you. What are the rest of you doing? Just curious. Like y'all are in this cave. There's kind of a large, what looks to be almost kind of a nest just up ahead, where like this creature probably sleeps, and has like a large just pile of refuse, and there's even you're even able to catch. Surprisingly, there's no like droppings or anything in here, but that's likely because the creature doesn't do its business where it lives, or at least it hasn't in some time. But what are the other three of you doing while Astaroth is talking to this large woman?
I'm looking towards the entrance of the cave.
Watching for somebody to come home. Fair.
Yep, smiling and sweating.
It's just the rain, I swear.
I'm keeping an eye on people's hands.
Okay, which people?
The people that are closer to the entrance.
Okay, so Gert and Bengt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dorthandrel's looking around at those piles of bones and wondering how old they are, and if any large weaponry is lying around from the previous. Actually, looking to see if there's any signs that the beast had been attacked in this cave previously.
Ooh, roll me a average perception check while Astaroth's doing his thing. Astaroth, since you're the only person looking at Willie, roll me a -20 intuition check. Dorthandrel,
Ooh.
the thing that jumps out at you is that these bones are definitely on, like, nothing here looks fresh. Nothing. Everything here looks like it has been this way for a while. Like, you can very clearly see disturbances that were caused by humans, but you don't see any indication at all of something that has been here at least recently. Like all the bones, all the kind of debris, you're even able to like pick out bits of like what probably used to be like clothing or pieces of armor or what have you. Like a monster lived here. That is irrefutable. However, you feel very confident that said monster has not been home for at least a few days, if not longer.
Oh,
Oh, hold on. I need to roll her thing.
could I use a fortune point for that? Reroll.
Yeah, you can always you can always use a fortune point. Ooh. You're going to have to roll very well. Is all I will tell you. You can still roll if you want, but you're going to have to roll significantly better than you did.
How do I do that in Foundry?
So you right click on in the chat box on your roll.
Mm-hmm.
So your intuition chest, you right click on it and say use a fortune point to reroll.
Okay. There it is. Thank you.
And it'll automatically do it for you. Ooh, oh, you did pass, but she passed better. That being said, after your little kind of speech, she goes, "Look, I'll admit it. We've never killed one of them big beasties before. All right, we're not monster hunters like you. Your nobleness. We's just sees an opportunity, which is why we asked you to come here and check out this here lair, den, whatever. Just look at it, tell us what you think, where we need to go, and we'll follow it. Or we'll set a trap, whatever you want to do. You're more skilled than us. You're better than us. We hear it from you a lot all the time. We just want to get paid, so do your fucking job."
Excuse me for a moment, and I turn around. I wrap my arms around Sigmund and say, "Lady, come here. Rothandra, come here."
Okay.
And I pull you into a fucking little group huddle.
You
Is
hear,
this some kind of human ritual?
yeah, you hear Gert kind of grunt, but you do hear Ben go, "Oh, I want to hear," from the side, and you hear, "Ben, come here, you jackass."
I would like to have a conversation and not have anybody else here to the best of our ability.
Good luck with that.
So I'm going to whisper, "Look, I never had any intention of letting any of the profit with anyone other than you. I didn't ask for this help, and I have no intention of, let's say, that this is a Manticore lair, or was, and we somehow find the Manticore out of this. I don't want to have to split the profit with all of these people. That was never part of the plan. What do you think?"
Astaroth, you said that the clump of fur was a day-ish old?
I would say so, yes. It
Have you
at
noticed
max.
any sign that the creature has been here in several days? The
Um,
last several days? I have not.
so on my way in, I know that I rolled and that I noticed that there was more fur and claw marks and whatnot. But I've been kind of distracted speaking with her. Looking around now, Sotek, do I kind of have the same observation that Dorthandrel has seen while I was talking, or?
Your observation is a little different. However, I need to roll a secret check real quick. By the way, Ben, Scout's honor. He knows what I mean.
Yes?
I need to roll a check really quick. Okay. And then I need to check one other thing. Sorry, I have to check what a talent. I need everyone to roll me a challenging perception check.
Oh, your dice hit mine.
You sullied my dice.
Metro with the rolls today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Dorthandro, I need to know, are you looking, where are you looking? This is very important. Which part of the cave are your eyes at?
Which the parts where the bones and the previous signs of the Manticore or the beast that I had seen.
Okay, so
I
inside
do
the
have
cave.
to direct
Okay,
Astaroth gaze to those
As-
spots.
Yeah,
where-
because he did just ask me about that.
so as you are talking amongst yourselves, Astaroth, the only thing I will tell you is that you do see or saw what Dorthandrel did, but the thing that really starts to settle in your gut at this exact moment is that you've seen the handiwork of this Manticore. And this is leaning heavily into your lore beasts. You've seen what this creature likes to do, which is that when it kills people, it obliterates them. It does not... You've been tracking this creature for many, many miles at this point. Many, many days at this point. It does not bring people back to its lair. It does not bring back whole people, and even if it did, it certainly does not bring back whole people to munch on and to chew on. And even if it did that, the damage that creature does to bodies is outrageous. And when you're looking at this creature's full-on lair, its nest, the thing that really catches your attention is that this creature was clean. It was very almost like picky about making sure it got these bones were picked clean, but the bones are still intact. It's not even if it's just been a while since it's been here, this place does not look like a charnel house in the sense that everything is just, all the bones are like completely and utterly obliterated and torn to pieces and shred. No, this looks like a creature that would like bring back its kills and feast on them by pulling them apart, not just obliterating it and then bringing lion-like jaws down to chomp on everything. That being said, no more time for that. Dorthandrel, the thing that you notice, and you alone will have time to react to this, is that Willie gets a very sudden expression change on her face, and she reaches behind her back to grab something.
Ah, how close is Willie?
You could charge her if you wished.
All right. Dorthandrel is going to take out his undamaging boat hook, rush to Willie, and swipe it at her leg, saying, "Not so fast. What are you doing?"
Oh, this could potentially be very interesting. Okay. Willie is going to Willie, although watching y'all, she is going to be able to roll opposed, but essentially just dual weapons, roll with your boat hook, roll an attack. She is going to attempt to dodge. Wow, look at that roll. So despite the fact that you move across the room shockingly fast, being an elf with elven speed, she just manages to basically, as you swing the boat hook, she kind of very carefully steps just out of your reach. Although she's not really able to, you see her eyes widen as you're moving across the room, but she just manages to move back out of reach, and she goes, this, and she pulls out a essentially a bottle, and she throws it. And now I'm going to roll a ballistic skill check, and I need the three of you, not Dorthandrel, because you actually moved out of the way with that. I need the other three of you to roll me a dodge check.
Challenging.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're going to combat.
Lanny. Nice
Can
roll.
dodge.
I'm going to spend a fortune point. Oh, even worse.
All right. So, now the good news is that doesn't necessarily mean that she hit you, because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to randomize which of you this bottle of oil hits. So I'm going to roll a D3.
Somehow it still hits Dorthandrel.
If I get a 1, it's going to be Lenny, who dodged. If I get a 2, it's Sigmund, who didn't, relatively. And if I get a 3, it's Astaroth. Oh, dear.
Oh, no.
Sigmund, you are struck by a bottle that shatters on impact. It hits your shoulder, and just oil just spreads across your body. And as the smell of this oil just erupts into the space, Astaroth, you realize that's what you were smelling. That's the odor that was getting to you underneath everything, and you realize that there's probably significantly more of it in this room. It's oil. And as she does that, you hear, actually, funny enough, you hear from further back just roll initiative. I'll explain what happens next in a second. Roll initiative. I need to open the combat tracker. Or no, I don't. This has a combat tracker tab. I need to start an encounter. Create encounter. There we go. Encounter started.
All right, so you do have to add them into the initiative by highlighting them and then doing the toggle combat stance for their tokens.
Okay, so I'm going to highlight all of you. I have toggle. Okay, awesome. So now what y'all do, because listen how easy this is. All you got to do is in the top right, you're going to go to the combat encounters tab, which is the fist, and then you just click on the dice. That's it. That's all you got to do.
Oh, wow.
What variant of initiative were we using?
That is a good question. 1 second.
Because this is the flat stats, I believe.
Flat stat being...
It takes your initiative and then it puts your agility as the point, whatever's after.
Oh, okay. No, I don't like that. How do I switch it?
So it'd be under settings for initiative rules for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition in configure game settings. The third option under the WFRP 4th Edition is initiative rules, and it defaults to highest to lowest initiative agility tie breaks.
Okay. I would like roll a d10, add initiative and agility, higher goes first. Roll an initiative test, higher SL goes first. What system do I like the most?
I think we're using the D10. But
yeah, let's do D10 add initiative. All right. So hold on. How do I clear? There we go. I could have just made y'all reroll, but whatever. All right. Everybody roll again.
Oh no.
Oh, I got a worse roll. Ooh.
You're
Okay.
still going before all the bad guys, unlike me.
So, thanks to Dorthandrel's warning, y'all are not caught by a surprise round. Also, because y'all have been incredibly suspicious this entire time, and y'all have had little bits and pieces that you've gathered, that something is up. Dorthandrel, you're up first because you're an elf and you're fast. Begin combat. Dun-dun.
All right. Dorthandrel's going to. Is Willie armed with anything
Willie is
that I can
armed.
visibly see?
She's armed with her big club that has nails hammered into it.
Oh, the big scary nail club. Yeah, I'm gonna take a swipe at Willie with my boat hook
Okay.
and hope that it hits. All right. I need to do that because I don't have any advantage anymore.
So, for combat in this system, I'm gonna just walk y'all through it. Whenever you're going to attack someone, you can see all of their tokens in the bottom right. Here, I'll actually move them closer to you. You'll notice there's one man who is not currently visible to y'all at the moment. What you're going to do is you're going to double-click the person you want to attack, and
I knew I recognized her.
and you should get a there should be like a little thing that appears around them on the corners, and once they have those little markers, that is when you will roll to attack, because it will automatically target a certain person.
Yeah, so you can either do that, you can hover over a token and hit the T on your keyboard, it will target them, and you can right click and it will bring up a bunch of options to select, and you can select target from there.
Whoo, boy.
Nice! Whoa! Nice roll, dude.
How do I roll her dodge and relate in counter to that?
So whatever the next roll that character makes will be the opposed roll.
Excellent.
So
Okay.
you can just click the icon in the chat and it will pull up her character sheet, and then you can roll from there.
Oh, whoops! I hit the different thing.
Yeah, the down arrow. I think that did clear the opposed test. So what
That's
you
fine.
can do is you can
We'll do
click,
it. We'll do it. Let me just roll her dodge, and then we can. Well, she rolled worse, so it's easy to easy to do. Okay, so you're gonna deal. She got a -2, so you're gonna deal 12 damage to her head, as you just. Actually, she did have 1 point of advantage because she dodged you earlier, but she still loses by -1. So you are going to smack her in the head, for 11 damage. Is that including your undamaging?
There you go. So you can click the test. There's a little back and forth arrow. Select who did the attack, and then select the roll to defend, and it will set up the test and resolve it.
All right. So, damage will be applied. So she takes. So you managed to move forward with. Actually, you could describe what. Fucking, I'll do it. So you managed to. You swing your boat. Boat hook. And like last time, she was expecting you to go for her feet. She sees that the boat hook is actually well designed as a weapon to trip someone up and pull their feet out from under them and make them go down. But while she's too busy waiting for that to happen, you just decide, screw it, and go for a more wild swing that just clocks her right over the dome. And she lets out a "oh fuck" as you strike her pretty handedly. And anything else you want to do?
With the hook, because I have hit with the tripping weapon. Oh, it's spend 2 advantage because it's from the thing. Never mind, I cannot do that.
Cool. All right, is that it for your turn?
Yep, that is it.
All right, so when you're done with your turn, when you're looking at the combat encounters tab, there is, when it's your turn, there will be a little thing that appears on the bottom that'll say in turn. Click on that and it'll move to the next person.
Under combat encounters?
Yes. All right, Lenny, it is your turn. Shenanigans have
All right.
erupted. People are throwing oil. In your experience, that usually is followed by fire.
All right. I will grab a javelin. Target the lady.
Okay, well, so before you do that, she is in close combat with Dorthandrel. So they are, if you want, you can aim for her specifically, but that is going to come at a penalty from your ballistic skill, so it's going to make it harder to hit. Or you could just throw it, and the gods will decide who is hit, but you get a bonus to throwing it. Or there are the other two, because since y'all did your little group huddle, and they were Gert and Willie were hoping that you would just stay all together so that they could just hit you with oil and light you up and be done with it. You notice that Bengt looks completely confused. Bengt looks so lost, like you hear him go, what's happening? As soon as the fight pretty much starts. But those two are standing off to the side together. So if you want, you could throw at them and you'd get a bonus to hit them and then just randomize which of the two you can hit. Or you can go for Willie, but that's not going to be easy.
I trust my throw. I'll throw at the lady.
Okay, since you are throwing into combat, but you are targeting a specific person, I believe that's a -10.
Okay. How do I do this? Click the javelin?
So make sure that you have her selected. You've targeted her. And then, you open your character sheet and you go to your javelin and you just click on it and then apply any modifiers that need to be applied. And, gods be with you.
Alright, you said -10 modifier.
Yes, and don't fumble. Or there may be a skewered elf. Okay, so you got a -1, but it is an opposed check. Wait, are shooting attacks opposed?
They are not unless they're point blank.
Okay. What is the range on your javelin?
6 yards.
6 yards, and point blank is. Oh my god, it's been too long since I've had to think, and that is a very, very short weapon. Let's see, shooting into melee.
It's usually divided by 10.
Oh, well, okay. It would have been -20. Wow, it's actually -20 if you're trying to target someone specifically. Okay, so you just miss. Yeah, you're just gonna miss.
Okay.
All right, so you throw a javelin.
I will.
But in their ensuing scuffle, it goes just a little wide. You don't miss by a lot. It's actually a pretty close shot. But it goes a little wide, and you hear it clatter. It sort of skips across the stones.
Okay, I will back up towards the entrance of the cave.
Okay. Then go into combat encounters and in turn.
Yep.
Astaroth, you're up.
Okay. Question for you, just because I want to confirm. So we had talked about me keeping my bow and everything on top of having the sword and shield.
Yeah.
So I have my sword and shield equipped at the moment. If I wanted to use my bow, would it take a turn just to equip the bow?
No, it's a free action. Because it's assumed you have it with you. If you're like, the only time you would ever struggle to pull your bow out is you are using your hands for something actively at that moment, but you are currently unengaged and didn't really have you weren't brr mode. No, it's not. Yeah. It's not hard at all to switch it out.
I'm pissed off. I'm going to let loose an arrow with all of my strength towards Willie's head.
Man, y'all are really going for Willie. All right. So once again, this will be a -20 if you want to shoot at Willie specifically. If you want to just shoot at the encounter, you get a +20, but it's randomized who you're going to hit. There's also 2 other people, one of which does not mean you well.
I trust that my companions, who have not gone yet, will watch our backs.
Well, that's only one of them, so you're putting a lot of trust in Sigmund.
I
will remind you. Okay, I'm going to give you one more reminder, just so you're cool. Sigmund is last in initiative order, so it is all the thugs after you guys.
Is he in last?
Yes. So I'm just to put things clear. Sigmund is also covered in oil. You also, and I'm going to give you this because you passed that check earlier. There's a lot of oil on the floor in this room. There's a reason it smells like oil in here, and it's not because they're trading in it. It's because They've been
They did.
prepping.
Yeah.
And Gert, the thug with the eye patch, he is holding a torch.
They're not gonna light up their own member. We're fine.
Okay.
What would Astaroth do in this situation? Astaroth gets tunnel vision every now and then.
Willie is currently reeling from a brutal crack across the head. Like, Dorothandrel seems to have the situation under control. And Gert, I keep wanting to say Bert. I'm thinking like Bert and Ernie. Gert definitely, like, you see him, like, moving into action in an aggressive way. Bent just looks confused, but Gert looks like he is here to kill you.
I'm close enough that I can engage him, right?
You would have to move to him because y'all did your little huddle. He's not far enough away to charge, because you didn't move that far away from him. But if you want, you could shoot him, and it would be a point-blank shot. Or you could just draw your sword and go punch, or, start fighting him to keep him away.
Seeing the events unfold, seeing that Willie is temporarily disposed, and kind of letting the situation sink in real quick. As much as Astaroth wants to behead Willie, he understands the gravity of the situation, so I'm just going to dash forward, and with all of the anger and shit that I had towards Willie, I am going to attempt to just slice this dude in half at the waist. And I want to hit him so hard, like, I know his sword is slashing, but I want to hit him with such force that if I do hit him, he, like, buckles and just goes flying.
Well, let's see what your roll says.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Before we get too carried away.
I'm just acting out what I want to do.
Hurls is just... Yeah, Hurls is just like, I'm loading my cheats real quick.
Yeah. I already refreshed my dice roller. So would I hit my sword for that? Move up?
Yes. So you're going to... You don't need to move because this particular fight is Theater of the Mind. Because I don't have a map for this because I wasn't exactly sure where y'all were going to fight them, and the map's not important. But you will simply move to engage, which is going to take an action, and then and your move action, and then you can just swing.
Okay.
So make sure that you have the person you're swinging at selected. So you're going to right-click their token and choose the little, like, target button to make sure that they are... it's the little... So you right-click on them, and then there's, like, a little target sign.
Or you could click them and hit T.
Or
it's not giving me the
T.
Okay,
you'll know when there's yellow.
Yeah,
it's a little yellow box right now. I wasn't doing it with the right click.
Yeah, and then you're gonna click the sword, and it's just gonna be challenging. So it's just gonna be a flat roll.
Oh.
But remember, it's an opposed check, so he has to. So he is going to try and dodge. Okay, so currently he is beating you by +3. Now, if you want, you can re-roll, use a fortune point, or you can just choose to lose the check.
I will save the fortune point. I already used one.
All right, so you do step forward, and you go for that swing for the fences. You bring your sword slashing across, and it's about to go into his right leg, and he just kind of deftly steps back to avoid it. So he is going to gain a point of advantage, and that is your turn. So you're going to go to combat encounters, and at the bottom you're going to see a button that says end turn. All right. Fortunately for you all, Bengt is next, and he is literally just standing there a little bit behind Gert going, "What? What's happening? Why are we fighting?" Like, he's completely lost.
They did not tell this idiot what was going to happen.
Nope. So he is going to skip his turn because he basically counts as surprised. He has no idea what's going on. Gert now goes, and he's going to turn. He goes, "We're here to kill him, you idiot! Stab him!" And he's going to pull out. He has his torch in one hand, and he has his club in his other hand. He is going to swing at you, Astaroth, with his club because I've been wanting to blame you, you rich bastard. All right. So now this is going to be interesting. I'm not sure how this works as the... Oh, wait. I bet I can... How do I roll as him to target.
So if you're using his character sheet, it will roll using him targeting whatever tokens you have selected
Delightful.
as your target.
Okay, so Gert is going to swing at you with his club. He does have one advantage because he won that check against you earlier. All right, so now what you're going to do, Astaroth, is you just go to your sheet and you can either roll a dodge or you can roll with your weapon. So if your melee basic is better, roll with your sword. If your dodge is better, roll with dodge. Though you do have a shield, right?
Hurls.
Oh, we lose him?
Might have lost him to his 2-year-old.
Yeah, okay. We will briefly skip him and get back to him when he gets back. So moving on to the next character's turn. It is
Willie.
Willie. Willie, she's going to be holding her head, reeling, and she's going to glare down at you. She goes, I'm going to skin your ears off for that. All right. And she is going to swing her big old club at you. That's a roll. Dorthander, you do have a point of advantage. All right, so
I think I am going to re-roll that.
Okay, you're going to use your 1 fortune point?
Yes, I think 10 to my body would not be fun.
Oh, you don't want to get cut in half again?
I just got that undone.
Oh, very nice. So she brings her club with the nails reeling down, and you almost have like a flashback of being in a similar situation against a similarly sized opponent, and just decide this time I'm going to move out of the way. And you definitely, at the last second, almost effortlessly step aside as her club comes swinging down and slams with a loud wooden crack into the rock.
I've seen that trick before.
All right, then a new player enters the game. Someone who has been here and been very sneaky the entire time, and all of you hear a crack as someone fires something. Okay, he does not care who he hits, so he is going to get a bonus. Where is his... Uh-oh. What? Oh, it's not equipped. What do you mean I can't equip more weapons? What is this bullshit?
If you go to the configure on the character sheet, you can set limits equip points, limits equipped weapons. You can change that to like infinite if you want. What it is there's a limit to how many hands. There's a setting where you can tell the whole setting to ignore it, but
I'm going to give him 6 hands for right now. All right. So he is going to fire this. He has been waiting. It is loaded. That being said, he does not care who he hits. So he is going to get a plus... actually, he's firing at short range. This is going to be devastating, whoever it hits. So if you have a god, Lenny, better start praying.
Which god is Lenny going to pray to?
That's a great question. Okay, so...
All in his head, you don't know.
So he's going to get a hell of a check because he gets a plus 40 because he is shooting into a group. Yep, he's shooting into a small group, which gives him plus 20, and then he's also within short range. So, yep. Here we go. Oh my god.
No.
Oh, Jesus.
Here's what happens now. here's what happens now.
Besides by Sigmar.
I'm going to roll a d3. Lenny, which number would you like?
Like 1.
Okay, on a 1, Lenny is going to take 20 damage to the body. On a 2, Gert is going to take 20 damage to the body. And on a 3, Bengt is going to take 20 damage to the body. So, let's see how the gods are feeling about Lenny. Here we go. Oh!
Hey.
Oh.
You hear a, what's going on? Why are we fighting? I don't hear. As all of a sudden a bolt slams through Bent's chest, straight through the
I wanted
lungs
him to live.
and a part of his heart.
Oh,
And he looks
poor
down,
Ben.
confused more than anything, in shock as blood comes out of his mouth and from his chest, and he simply says nothing before tumbling over forwards and just goes silent.
Oh, Ben got Ben.
Yep.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, sorry. My 2-year-old found his way to the door and was at the door going, Dad!
No, you're all good.
Dad!
Do me a favor and roll me a dodge or a weapon skill, because Gert is trying to hit you with his club. So whatever's your best. So if you're going to use your weapon skill or your melee basic, use your sword. If you're going to dodge, then use your actual dodge skill.
I have a shield. Could I block it with a shield?
So if you use your sword, it will use your shield. Your shield is defensive, so it gives you a +1 success level to your parry checks.
Do I have to target him again for that?
No, you just roll it.
Oh. Hit the sword. Challenging?
Yeah, it's always challenging if it's opposed. That being said, yes, that is correct.
And is it weapon skill or melee basic for this?
It's gonna be your melee basic, but if you're using your sword, you're just gonna click on the sword on your main tab. You're not gonna click on your melee basic.
Oh, okay.
But when it asks for any modifiers, give yourself +1 success level for your shield because it's defensive.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. He brings his club swinging around, and you just raise your shield, almost as if you were born to do this. You were born to be a knight all along. And his club just deflects off your shield. You even manage to make it where, like, you don't take the full brunt. You just turn it aside using your shield, and it slams into the rock beside you. So you have a point of advantage. All right. It is now Sigmund's turn. Sigmund! Somebody... Oh, also, Sigmund, take 1 wound from that glass that hit you.
Okay.
Just a single wound. You're covered in oil. It smells bad. Everything's going to shit. Bent just got impaled by a crossbow fired from somewhere.
Yeah, can I see where it came from?
Roll me a roll perception check. Challenging.
Okay.
Nope.
I didn't need to target that thug, but yeah.
Yeah, you're all good.
Yeah. Okay.
It came from
Then-
somewhere. It was very loud.
Yeah, going to help Dorothandel take care of Willie because
Ben, isn't there some way to make like a big X appear over a token? Or am I crazy? Ben?
he just got back.
I am back.
Oh,
Sorry, I was typing something. If you right-click right above where toggle combat is, there's a person with the halo, and that's assigned status effects, and there is a skull for being dead.
okay. Sorry. Say that. Start at the beginning of that sentence one more time.
Right-click the token. Above the toggle combat state, there is the assigned status effects.
Thank you. Okay,
And that's where you can give conditions and death and things.
cool. He's dead.
Yeah.
Poor bastard. poor simple. So fun fact. I didn't actually get to reveal this yet, but he was called Bumbling Bent. Anyway, moving on.
Makes sense. Gonna go try and take out Willie.
Okay, so you're gonna join Dorothandrel.
Yep.
All right, since y'all have her outnumbered 2-1, you will get a plus 20 to your attack. Also, she's far enough away that you can charge her, so you will get an additional point of advantage before you swing. So you will have one advantage for your swing, and then you also get a plus 20 for surrounding.
Plus. So I'll have plus 30 total from.
And in the grand scheme of things, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. She is going to roll to try and dodge that. I keep clicking the wrong thing. There we go.
Oh, nice.
Oh, she like starts to move out of the way. She sees you coming and tries to pull the same little trick that she pulled against Dorothandrel, but she's too slow. So Sigmund, tell me what happens.
As he's running, draws a sword, and then like is extending as he reaches her, and just at full extension, catches her right below the ribs and just goes up into the chest cavity with his blade.
Brutal. And she just lets out a and then she tumbles to the ground. And you're a no, Willie! All right. Down at the bottom, you'll see a intern. And at this point, so this round is ended. Gert quickly does a little bit of mental math here. And especially that Bengt was killed by seemingly friendly fire. And he kind of raised up a head and says, I surrender! I give up! Don't kill me! Dorothandrel, it's your turn.
I don't know where that bolt came from.
Roll a perception check. It is challenging, but you do get your advantage you do get your bonus for acute sense sight.
All right, but not advantage.
You will get your advantage because this is part of the combat scenario.
All right.
You know exactly where that fucking bolt came from. You notice that up towards the entrance, as y'all were coming in, and the torches were mainly the cause of this because they were giving enough light that you could see where you were going, but they were also deepening the shadows of everywhere else. Almost like this was intentionally done by someone who is very, very clever. And very close to the entrance, you spy, your elf eyes spy that a certain individual who you recognize, busily, he was reloading his crossbow, but after hearing the whole surrender thing, you notice he has stopped. Is up in, he made like a nice little sniper's nest for himself very close to the entrance.
All right, so he's off the ground.
Yeah, he is, like, you would have to scramble back up to get to him. And he is like it would take you like a full run action to get to him in one turn. And you would have to like and when I say run, I mean you'd have to roll use your action to do an athletics check to get that extra bit of distance.
All right, so he's like 40 yards away.
Yeah. And he looks less like he's reloading and more like he's packing up.
All right. If he's by the entrance, can I run to the entrance?
That would functionally just put you right next to him.
Okay. Well, then I will do the athletics run, and we'll see.
Okay, as long as you pass the athletics check, you'll make it. You
All
will
right,
be
challenging?
yes, but you will get your advantage. All right, you are able to clamber up. You take off, fully extending those elven legs. You are hoofing it, and you manage to scramble up the slope and put yourself between the mysterious stranger and the exit, and the two of you lock gazes.
Now, don't run away so fast. We need to talk.
All right, you can end your turn. Lenny, you're up.
All right. I would like to do similar. Try to get by him.
Unfortunately for you, you are not elven speed. You are man speed.
Dang it.
So you would have to roll exceptionally well on your athletics check to make it to where Dorthandrel is.
I'm okay with that.
All right.
Lenny's grin has widened. He seems strangely excited and anxious. And he will try and make it.
Okay, go ahead.
What's it? Just challenging?
Yes, it's a challenging athletics check, though you will get your advantage if you have any.
Mm-hmm.
That is not gonna do it.
I would like to reroll.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right, go ahead. So you just right click it. Yeah, okay, there you go. Wow! Look at that!
Oh!
So Lenny, seemingly spurred on, he faced death essentially, and was nearly skewered through the chest, but thankfully avoided just instant death, and clambers up after the elf. And Dorothandrel, you can hear Lenny is breathing much harder than you, but he is hoofing it, and he is right behind you.
You ain't no Manticore, but maybe a good challenge. and turn.
All right, it is now Astaroth's turn.
This gentleman is in front of me asking for mercy, correct?
Yes, he is. He has dropped his club. He's still holding the torch, but he has dropped the club. And he is. I surrender. I'm done. I don't want to fight. I don't want to die.
Aye. Good on you. I'll show you mercy, and I will behead him.
Okay, he is going to try and dodge, though. Because he doesn't want to die. But roll your attack. You do have your advantage and everything. And I'm also going to I am going to give you a +10 because he's not expecting it.
Okay, so would that be to my success level? Because I don't have a +10. I have challenging 0 and average 20.
Yeah, just add it to the hold on.
Modifier.
Yes, add it. So when you're rolling it, where it says modifier, just put a 10.
Okay. Oh, come on.
Oh, so close.
I'm gonna re-roll that.
Okie dokie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You swing your sword. Why does he have a point of advantage? Who did he win a check against? I'm trying to.
Astaroth's first attack.
Oh, that's right. All right. So he just you say that, and he sort of lets out a breath, oh. But as he
should have lost it when Astaroth blocked his attack, and Astaroth should have won.
He did attack Astaroth most recently. Yes, you're correct. So, Astaroth, did you have a point of advantage on your roll?
I'm not sure. I added the +10, and it says I have.
What
One
is your
success level.
what is your what is your melee basic?
Let's see. 31, 36.
36. Okay, so no, it did not have it. So you actually had a +2, and he had a +1. So no, you actually do strike him. So you would have dealt. So it would have been a success level difference of 1. And then you. What's your strength bonus?
So
My
you can
strength levels-
edit the rolls.
How do I?
And
Oh,
so there's an edit
I see.
icon
Yeah,
on
I see it.
Astaroth's roll. You can, yeah.
Oh, nope, not +21. There we go. Okay, so you're gonna deal 9 damage to his. So he kind of stumbles back. Like as you go for the swing, he sort of reflexively moves his arms up. And you bring your blade slashing, and it just kind of slices right to his right arm, and he goes, "Ah!"
Resign yourself to your fate. The gods will be your mercy. You and I both know more than anyone that, oh, I just lost my train of thought.
You only get 10 seconds, or like 6. Is it 6 seconds or 10 seconds per round? I want to say it's 6. End your turn.
It's 6 in D&D.
Oh, so it's 10 in Warhammer, because I know it's different. All right, he's dead. All right. Delightful. He looks down, so Gert looks down at his arm, and he looks up at you, and he just like, you see a resolution take over his face. Like a hateful, bitter certainty. And he just looks at you, and he goes, he says, "All my life, you rich scum have looked down on us, treated us like garbage just because we weren't born like you. Well, if I'm gonna die, you're gonna die too. Fuck you." And as he says that, he slams his torch directly under his knees, and the oil that they had prepped alights. I need everyone to roll. Sorry, not everyone, because only 2 of you are in range. Sigmund and Astaroth will need to immediately roll me dodge checks. Astaroth, because you are particularly close, yours is going to be at a -20. However, you do get your advantage, and you should be at 2 advantage right now. So make sure to correct that if it needs correcting.
So do I need to add that in manually? Because it says 0.
Yeah, so just if it
Right,
says 0,
okay.
just change it to a 2. Sigmund, for you, it is challenging. You do get your advantage. You really don't want to fail this, Sigmund.
Okay.
I cannot make that more clear.
Gonna reroll.
Off to a great start.
There we go.
Okay.
Sigmund cutting it close. All right, so as he stabs it down, there is a whoop as the oil, especially the fumes from it, alights. And Gert immediately goes up, and he lets out a "Ah!" as he is consumed by flames. Astaroth, you leap, like full, like cat scared by cucumber leap backwards as the flames shoot across the floor and just start consuming everything. They're lighting up, like it goes into the nest, and when it gets to the nest of whatever lived here in particular, there was a lot of oil there, almost as if that's where they were expecting y'all to stand. And there is like a notable almost explosion because there was so much oil and collected fumes that had just been like sitting there. As all of a sudden smoke and heat and fire just fills the cave. Sigmund, you very narrowly, almost by accident, sort of stumble back towards the furthest wall And as you kind of hit against it, luckily they did not apply very thoroughly around the edges because they wanted to give themselves an escape route. You are, as you kind of slam against the wall, the fire licks past you, but it does not make contact with your oil-covered body. That being said, the two of you that are actually deep in the cave are going to need... okay, nope, it'll happen on the start of your turn, so never mind. Okay, so that is his turn. He screams a little bit, and then he collapses backwards and goes silent, as his body and that of his companions are all consumed by the flame. The mysterious man! He is going to look down at the fire that is now crawling its way upwards, and the thing that he kind of looks at it, and he looks back at you, Dorthandra and Lenny, he's like, even though y'all moved up to where he is, he did not stop moving very calmly. He simply like kept putting away his crossbow, restringing it. He finishes reloading it, slings it over his back, stands up, and is holding his pick quite lightly. He seems very unbothered. And he looks down and he points and he says, "Those flames, they're going to cut off your companion's escape. I know. I put the oil there. If you're quick, maybe you can get them out before they burn to death. Or you can try and stop me, and I'll kill you anyway. What's it going to be?"
This is where Lenny says, "Why not both?" and grabs him and starts running into the fire.
He is going to attempt to run past the two of you. If you want, you can make an opportunity attack or attempt to grab him or something. But whether his threat is true or not, who could say? But he is going to try and run past the two of you.
All right.
He's getting out of dodge.
Sotek.
Yeah, what's up?
Does it seem like he has had at any point that we've seen him with the other three thugs any kind of camaraderie with them?
No. No.
Okay.
You feel incredibly confident that him shooting that other guy in the back was not what he intended, but he seems completely and utterly unbothered by murdering someone that was completely innocent.
All right, I just needed to check my psychologies and if they went off. But Dorthunder will take a swipe at him as he goes by with his boat hook.
Okay.
Same. Dagger.
He will try and parry the elf because the elf is closest. He is not going to try and oppose Lenny's attack.
Oh, darn.
Oh, well, you got it.
Hey.
Oh, no, I want to change. Okay, so let's do this. He's going to unoppose that. And then he's going to roll this. And then I need to... How do I get... What is this button? Oh, all right, so all that's important to note is what happens. So, as he's running past y'all, Lenny, you slash out with your dagger, and it connects against his chest, and you notice this man is actually wearing an impressive amount of armor. It was visible, but now that you're actually swinging, like, he's got a full mail coat on, and your dagger kind of like glances off of it, and it drags downwards and just cuts ever so slightly against an exposed part of, like, right around like a little ways above his hips. So you do score a nick on him, but that's all, just a little nick. And Dorathandrel, he like just bats your boat hook aside with his pick, and he is past the two of you, running out into the dark. Sigmund, you're up. There is fire everywhere. Also, I need you to now immediately roll me a challenging endurance test. As there is a horrible amount of smoke, and it is very difficult. Oily, black, thick smoke contained in this cave, and it is filling up fast, and it is hard to breathe.
Then I'm guessing my tenacious talent will trigger for this.
Yes, I believe it will.
I mean, being on fire does sound like a hardship.
Luckily, you're not on fire. It's just hard to breathe. But yes, you will absolutely get tenacious.
Okay, you said endurance, so that gives me +1.
Yeah, it might auto-apply. It should if it's working properly.
So when you're rolling the test, there's a bonuses box that has a listing of all your talent conditions. So underneath them, there will be endurance tests for enduring hardships. If you highlight it by clicking on it, you'll notice the success bonus will go up by 1.
Sweet. And then, do I still get my advantage?
Yes, because you this will be the last turn you get advantage, but yes, you will get it.
Cool.
Ooh. And now it's not the end of the world. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Well, I tried to save you. All right, so you gain a fatigue condition as you are coughing horribly from trying to breathe in this oppressive smoke. So you are going to right click on your character, left click on the little like guy that's glowing, and find the one that is fatigue and add it. There you go. So you are fatigued as you are coughing and coughing and coughing. That being said, you now are in a cave. It is on fire. You need to leave. If you want, you can spend an action to kind of like hunker down and get like below the clouds and sort of recover your breath, and that will actually remove the fatigue condition. This is a very unique instance. Normally you can't do that. If you want, before you make your move action, so you could spend an action getting rid of the fatigue and then move, or you can say fuck it and just use all of your combined actions to get the hell out.
I will spend my action to remove the fatigued.
All right, so you're going to hunker down, take a few deep breaths, realize that while the fire is spreading and this is bad, at least it's a very, very large cave, and clearly while they were very liberal in their use of the oil, they were not very accurate with it, so to speak. You do see a clear path out, though it is quickly being consumed by flame.
Okay. I will begin making my way out.
All right, it'll take you 2 moves to fully escape. So you maneuver your way and you manage to get most of the incline up, and that is the end of your turn.
Okay.
Dorathandrel. Also, Sigmund, make sure you end your turn.
Yes.
All right, so I can see Sigmund coming up through the rapidly shrinking gap.
Yes, though by your current estimations, he is not going to make it without having to encounter some fire, and he is covered in oil.
All right, Dorathandrel will look to Lenny and then rush to Sigmund and shout, "This way!" And he's going to run over, try to grab Sigmund and haul him out.
If you want, you could just offer him the boat hook and just kind of pull.
Okay.
Make climbing out significantly easier. Not even going to make a test for it. It's very simple. You spend your turn helping Sigmund. Sigmund, you are able to get out of where the flames are going to close off by the end of this round.
Sweet.
All right, but that is going to be your full turn.
Yep.
All right.
Lenny, your friends are caught in a burning cave, and the mysterious man has run out into the forest. You can pursue him if you wish, but you are alone.
Lindy will wheel around, see Sigmund and Dorathandrel out, Does he see Astaroth?
Astaroth is down in the flames.
Oh, right. He will hold his breath with strong swimmer. Hopefully that helps. And he will go in, see if he can find Astaroth.
Okay. It is thankfully not impossible to see him from where you're at. Though, like, you catch glimpses of him through the smoke, but we'll see what he does. Astaroth, it's your turn. Everything's on fire.
Can I see out of the cave? Like, do I see Sigmund, Dorthandrel, the gentleman running away,
Not through
and
the
Lenny?
smoke. Like, you catch
Lenny's-
you catch glimpses of it, but not like you
Okay.
can't like see it.
And Lenny, wave from, like, where he just came in from?
Yeah, if you want, and like be shouting his name and stuff. Like, yeah, you can identify Lenny very easily.
Yeah, he's, like,
I'm-
beckoning you to...
Oh wait, before you do anything, roll an endurance check.
Oh yeah, challenging. Or
Yes, it is challenging, and you will not get your advantage. Actually, you don't have any advantage. Wait, yes, you do, but you will not get it.
okay, so 0 says modifier of 20. Why?
Down below on the roll, you'll see that there's a little circle thing. Oh, wait, maybe only the GM gets that.
Well, let me.
When you
Okay,
make
but
the
then-
roll, Sotek, you'll notice that for Sigmund's last roll, next to the edit, there's a 1 in a circle. You can hover over that, and we'll tell you what effects are modifying the roll.
Okay. Yeah, just go ahead and roll it.
I took it off.
Okay, you're fine. It's hard to breathe, but you're tough.
I'm gonna start just sprinting for the cave entrance. Should I do an athletics check for that?
Nope. You've got Lenny's literally there, like reaching out from like the end of Lord of the Rings, being like, "Grab my hand," and you're able to easily. He's able to easily help you out.
Can I see this gentleman running away, or is he gone?
No, he's gone. He's gone.
If only you could track. in
I
the
was just
muddy
gonna
rain.
yeah. Where did gonna turn to Dorthandrel and Lenny? Where'd he go?
That away, if I can.
Are you
Point.
okay, it's gonna take your full turn to get out, so you're not gonna be able to do anything this turn. But that does not
Okay.
necessarily mean you're up the creek without a paddle yet.
Okay.
All right, it is his turn. He vanishes into the dark. All right, Sigmund, you escape the burning cave. All of you are standing in the cave mouth entrance. Smoke is pouring out in massive plumes. It smells awful. It smells like burning. Everything is just kind of like ugh. The cave itself is like a furnace now, just belching out flames and heat. It is lighting up the forest and the night. It is a big old beacon.
It appears we still have not learned our lesson.
We are out of combat, though if y'all want to initiate a pursuit, you can.
Absolutely. I would like to try and track this gentleman.
All right, roll me a. He is far more clever than he may initially appear. So you're going to roll an opposed check. You're going to roll a challenging track check, and it is going to be against his stealth rural.
Okay.
So here, I'm actually going to roll him first. Let's do this. So I'm going to do a secret roll.
Characteristic initiative. Should it be something else?
And then I'm going to do that. Oh! That was so close to just being a 4. Oh my
Yeah,
good god.
I thought I had that. I was like, here we go. Let's go.
Do you have any more fortune points?
No, and I'm not going to use a corruption point.
Okay. You walk up to the edge of the forest and you can see like a path. Like he's wearing armor that is like making him a bit heavier. You can see snapped branches and twigs. You can see his footprints in the dirt, and then all of a sudden, as you're going along and you kind of get into the forest, you literally get get from the clearing that the cave was in, and you get to the edge of the forest. Out of just suddenly, it's like he turned into a ghost. It just stops completely and utterly. It's as if he just vanished into thin air. Or took off flying or something.
With night vision, would I be able to see him at the end when he vanished into the forest? Or is he too far with a single round's movement?
Tell you what, roll me a very hard perception check. You do have night vision, right?
Yes.
All right. Roll. Yeah, it's still gonna be very hard because of just like all the foliage and everything that's in the way. But you are going to
The weather.
and it's raining. That's true. That being said, you are going to get bonuses for night vision and for acute sense sight. No,
Nope.
he's gone. That being said, the four of you get to the end of this clearing. I assume you're all following Astaroth, correct?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So as you get to the end of the clearing, where like the trees are starting to thicken up again, and the rain is no longer pouring, with the belching furnace flame, the mouth of hell behind you. All of you need to roll me a average. Actually, it's raining. A challenging perception check. Ooh, there it is, Astaroth. Very good rolls. Very good rolls. Okay, Astaroth. You're the first one that hears it. And then Sigmund hears it. And then Dorthandrel hears it. And then Lenny hears it. Astaroth, it starts faint at first. Very, very faint. You just hear a whoo, 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 whoo. And it's just, it's this weird thumping sound. And you hear it about every 1 to 3 seconds. And it slowly gets louder and louder and louder. And after about 10 of these weird beats, all of you can hear it. And whatever it is, it's getting like boom, boom. And it's coming from somewhere. It's not clear where. Definitely not coming from the cave, but it's coming from somewhere.
Everyone, hide, and hide now.
Lenny
Use the
jumps
weather
in
to our advantage. Cover yourself in mud. Find foliage, something. Hide now.
Roll the mud. Are y'all hiding?
Yeah, should we roll stealth checks?
Yes, but thanks to all the things, it's going to be a very easy stealth check.
Oh, it says I have -10 for stealth. What?
Your armor.
Because you have armor. You're a heavy boy.
What was it? Very easy?
Very easy.
Okay.
You can fail this check, but
Astaroth did.
Yep.
Oh. Okay. That is very interesting.
Apparently, this Manticore does not like Knights Panthers.
So, as this noise, which Astaroth, you have correctly identified as flapping. All of a sudden, over all of your heads, what little moonlight there is and the stars are blinked out of existence as something passes overhead. Something huge. And you hear a deep-throated roar, a grumbling roar that shakes the very trees as a creature so dark it's as if a piece of the blackest night has detached itself from the firmament and come crashing down, slams down into the clearing, facing the cave. It is very, very large. And amidst the night, you are able to pick out large, leathery, bat-like wings, a huge insectoid scorpion tail, and a leonine figure facing away from you with black fur that you only... That's really as much as the rest of you are able to make out. Dorthandrel, between your night vision and your elf eyes, you are able to see that this thing's fur is coated in gore. There is dried blood, congealed blood, fresh blood. When it impacts onto the ground and it skids a little bit, its claws effortlessly are gouging out the rock beneath it, as if the rock was made of just the simplest paper. And you see that there are skulls and bones like woven into this creature's fur somehow. Dorthandrel and Dorthandrel alone, roll me a -10 perception check. You do get your bonuses for night vision and acute sense sight.
All right. Anything for the winds of magic? I do have the second sight.
Not in a bonus sort of way, but it will potentially give you more information. All right. Dorthandrel, the thing you immediately notice, because it jumps out at you, because it's so odd compared to the rest of this creature's appearance, is that up near its head, which you can't see its full head, but you can see like the big mane, which you do note actually is reddish in color. But as it gets out towards like the edges of the mane, it turns like a deeper red to the point where it becomes black. But there actually is some original red fur there, though fairly little. The thing that jumps out at you and immediately kind of alarms you is that this creature has a saddle. There's nobody in it, but there is a very bizarre, leathery, old, withered-looking saddle situated on this monster's back. And as it slams into the ground, it doesn't waste any time. It pauses for a moment, and y'all can hear it breathing, sniffing. And it's like a bellows, just a like it is just taking in everything. You can hear loud, like a tongue slapping against its jowls as it begins to move towards the cave. Each step like a notable thump on the ground. I need all of you to give me a cool test for terror.
Challenging?
Yes. But you need to... It is not a... You need to do more than just pass.
I'd like to reroll.
You found it! mission accomplished! Okay.
Time to fight!
Charge!
Alright, so he is Terror 2, which means you need to pass by at least 2 success levels in order not to be terrified. So everybody is terrified except Sigmund.
Yeah.
Sigmund is the only one not terrified. The rest of you are terrified. So, for those of you that are terrified, you are... Actually, wait, no. Terror doesn't have a rating. Oh, yes, it does. Terror does have a rating. Okay, cool. So, let's see. If you fail... Okay, so for those of you that fail, you gain 2 broken conditions plus the number of success levels below 0. So Lenny gets 6 broken conditions.
Oh my god. absolutely
Astaroth
terror
gets
routed.
3,
Okay.
and Dorothandrel gets 6. As for what the broken condition does, it does the following. I'm on the wrong page. Where are my conditions? Those are diseases. Those are
So
fingers.
on character sheets, you can go to effects, and at the top there's a list of icons. The Running Man is the broken condition. If you right or left click on it, it will pop up what the description of the condition does.
Ah, neat. Of course, just as I get to the actual page. So, yeah. Since you are broken, the only thing you can do is run for your life. That is going to be your full action. That being said, I had y'all take a very easy stealth check earlier. One of you failed. Astaroth, as the overwhelming size, majesty, and horror of this creature. Oh, by the way, Dorthandrel, and as the terror of what you're actually facing against settles upon you, in the moments before what's about to happen happens, you do, with your second sight, see you almost didn't notice it because of how much there is. It's almost like impossible to see it just because of how overwhelming it is. This creature is drenched. I mean, completely and utterly consumed by Dar. It is like, it looks like, to your second sight, it almost looks like this creature is covered in like a tarry black substance that is constantly dripping off of it. Like someone has dunked it in the most foul, brackish oil that they could possibly find and then set it loose upon the world because it is so horrifically like condensed in dark magic. That being said, Astaroth, the sight of this creature, this overwhelming horror, this thing that is so large it could genuinely step on you and crush like a full half of your body effortlessly. This thing that you've seen take on a entire contingent, or at least a small, a fairly decent sized squad of Inner Circle Knights Panther and tore them apart as if they were children, led into the den of the most brutal of creatures. You realize just how small and insignificant you are in this scenario. You realize that you are not nearly as well armored. You don't have any kind of fancy magic sword. You don't have a great steed. You don't have decades of combat training. You're a child before a demon. And as that dread completely settles into your heart, settles into your mind, you cannot help. You just can't help it. It's like it just escapes from you. Everybody lets out a sound of horror, a gasp, a small whimper. You scream. And as your scream, completely unbidden, comes out of your throat, the creature pauses and it looms and it turns around and it looks at you. And you are staring into you just see these yellow eyes with just the slightest little slit, and it is as if evil itself has taken on. Oh, its face is oddly horrific, almost fascinating in a way, because it's not a cat's face. Like, it is a lion head, but there's also something else about it. There's something else unnerving. Like, there's almost like a humanish set of qualities within that leonine shape. And to make matters even worse, when it actually turns to face you, this creature has all sorts of bones woven into its mane as decoration, where there's just skulls and rib cages and arms, and as it faces you, just the way its hair moves as it turns and lets out a growl, you hear the bones clacking against one another, and just from it moving, it almost gives the illusion that all of the skulls are laughing, as if they're welcoming you to come join. And all the four of you can do, save Sigmund, who we'll get to in a second, is turn and flee for your fucking lives. You turn and you run. You can't do anything else. Your minds are completely overwhelmed by terror. You are facing the apex of apex predators. Lenny, you come from Norska. You've seen horrific things. You've seen nightmarish entities rise up out of the oceans and face off against Norscan ships. You've seen warbands. You've seen chaos. And this thing is so much worse. This thing is... It's a chaotic creature, but it's huge. And there's nothing. There is no warship of camaraderie between you and it. There's no safety of war machines or walls or comrades. You are utterly alone. And all the three of you could do is run. And it lets out this apoplectic roar of who knows what it intends. And it takes off into the sky in your direction. Sigmund, you're the only one that's managed to hold on to your wits. You are hunkered down in the grass, in the mud. It definitely looked at Astaroth. Astaroth made a pretty noticeable noise, and now the three of them are running for their lives into the forest. The thing that you notice that could potentially be problematic is they are not all running the same direction. They are all kind of picking a different path, and good luck. Good luck to the others. What will you do?
So I mean, it already knows that there's a group here, so me breaking stealth won't be too much of an issue. There's no way I can rally them to at least get them to run back to town.
Tell you what, if you could pass a charm check with a +6 modifier, maybe? Now, okay, if your goal is just to try and herd them, how would you try and do it? If you saw three people utterly consumed by terror, genuinely running for their lives, what would Sigmund try and do to get them to notice his existence and not be utterly consumed by the terror of the thing chasing them?
Yell loud enough and angry enough to also be part of the fear that it kicks in oh hey, this is like a drill sergeant or something, I'm doing something wrong. What's he saying? Oh, back to town, of course, back to town. Give them a goal to focus on.
So you're just gonna scream back to town?
Yep.
All right. Roll me. Do you have leadership?
I do have some leadership. Yes.
You do.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Tell you what. Roll me a very hard, because they all two of them failed really bad, and the other one has been directly noticed by the big problem. Yep. So equally as bad. Yeah. Roll me a very hard leadership check, and you just need a pass. It does not matter the success levels. It is a pass or fail.
I mean, it's gonna be a really hard pass, but here we go.
Oh my god!
That's almost as amazing as Astaroth's 100.
Oh my, you got it right on the...
Nice.
So Sigmund stands up, seeing this abominable horror, and goes, back to town, and just takes off. And the three of you are utterly consumed by complete terror, utterly consumed by madness, and the kind of fear the likes of which can only be truly experienced by people that there is no... You can't think. You're in full lizard brain mode. It is it's like having the worst of anxiety attacks, but the thing that's causing it is actually there, not a phantom, not just your brain dumping. You are full adrenaline, full fear, but despite that, Sigmund's words get into that lizard brain, get into that primitive part of your mind, not in the sense of a rallying cry or inspiring hope, but just in the sense of, oh, that's safety. I'll be safe in town. There's people in town. There's a boat. I can run. I can get to the boat. Can Manticore swim? I don't care. And you all actually rally enough together with Sigmund kind of egging you on that you beeline in the direction of town. However, there is one last check I need you to make, which is that I need all of you to make me a challenging navigation check to see if any of you remember where town is.
I'd like to reroll.
Sigmund,
I'm
go
not-
through again!
I'm not terrified. I know where to go.
Sigmund leads the charge, saying, this way, the town is this way! And everyone follows Sigmund, and you run, hearing primeval roars thundering through the forest. But fortunately for the four of you, you're in the Reichwald, and you're in an old, thick part of the Reichwald. While you may be an hour away from Weisbrook walking, running for your lives actually makes the journey a fair bit quicker. And after, it doesn't actually take that long. Sigmund, you're actually keenly aware of it. The other three are not, because they're just running. They're not thinking, they're running. And you've actually managed to successfully cajole them to follow you specifically. And as you're all just running, Sigmund, you notice after about 20 minutes, the roar is further away. And the wing beats are not ever present. They fade into the distance as the rain becomes the only thing you can hear. Other than the sound of terrified feet slamming into the ground and people breathing heavily. And you run, and you run, and you run, and you just keep running. But eventually, exhaustion catches up with the four of you. And as you are kind of pulling up, needing to breathe, needing to just pause for a moment, you kind of come over a rise and you see Weisbrook. Just over this rise, you see the walls and the construction that are spreading out beyond it, the expanding fields. And it's just sleepy little Weisbrook, just the way you left it. Doesn't seem the slightest bit bothered. It's not on fire. There's no monster terrorizing the skies. Everything seems normal. And you're able to finally take a breath and just stop for a moment. All of you who have broken conditions, your broken conditions are removed. You gain fatigue. Weisbrook is in sight. You have escaped the Manticore.
What do we do now?
Keep in mind, the three of you that failed, you're still kind of like reeling from that experience. Kind of just had you, especially you, Astaroth. Like you quite literally just faced the devil himself, and he looked at you.
We go to the boat, we sit down, and we discuss our options there.
You get some wine and you drink.
Yeah. We wake up, what's his face, and get some of his wine.
I guess that. Well, yeah. Let's go to the boat.
I'm going to let you have the rest of tonight, but tomorrow morning, Astaroth, we are having a talk.
A talk. Okay. I so be it. I just need to sit down. Oh my God.
Just you and him, right? Not
Yes, just me and him.
Oh, okay, good.
Just a talk.
Well, I can trust you on that. I've seen your talks. and I'll head to the boat.
All right, you are.
It's actually here. Ah, where was the wine?
You make your way back to the Weisbrook without any issue, past the Black Gold Inn, back onto the Bear Belly. It's quiet. And Dorothandrel, you've seen Yosef plenty of times. You know where he keeps stuff. And you are able to very quickly acquire a bottle for everyone, if necessary. And the four of you are able to finally sit on the Bear Belly as it rocks gently in the bay. It's not a bay. In dock, whatever.
Well, we all survived. I think this calls for some celebration.
That's all you, my friend. You enjoy the wine. I can't even look at it. I'm done for today.
Then he starts chugging. He goes wild.
Cool. Consume alcohol.
Yeah.
Don't forget your penalty for fatigue, which should be automatically applied, I think. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's hitting. Oh, yeah, it's hitting.
No, Dorothandrel's just chugging down the bottle and then collapsing somewhere where he sleeps.
I'm just gonna go into my room and sit in a chair and just sit.
It's challenging for the wine, right?
Think so?
Yes, correct. You're all drunk.
Yep. That was the plan.
Then he's gonna go over to Sigmund.
Ashroth, you retired to bed already?
Yeah, I can't even think about getting drunk or anything right now.
That's fair. That's fair. As you settle down to go to sleep, leave on the slightest little fire in a little lamp. That way it's not too dark. Because who knows, those eyes might be in the dark.
Lenny shuffles over. Hey, you actually kept it together pretty well there.
Yeah, when you've had dozen or so cannons test fired when you're just outside, kind of get used to a couple things.
Nods.
Ignorance is such bliss. Dorothandrel drinks from the bottle.
And now I was wondering, he kind of leans in, if maybe a bit later, but if you could convince me to go back, you think you can do it?
Maybe. I might have to go into Astroth as well, because I remember the direction of town. I don't know the exact path we took to get out there, though.
Okay, I'll take a maybe. And not the cave, I meant the beast.
Well, the beast was at the cave.
I'll take it. And I'll just lean back until I hit the floor. And pass out.
It's a comfortable floor. You've been there many a time. Dorothandrel, Sigmund, y'all want to do anything for bed?
Am I drunk?
Oh, yeah.
Checklist is done.
All right. Eventually, you all stumble, either collapse where you were, drinking yourselves into a stupor to try and wash away the night's terrors, or you're able to simply wander off to bed and really rest if you're fortunate enough. Everyone can roll a challenging endurance check. If you have any wounds missing.
No.
I don't think any of y'all were hit.
I do.
No.
I do.
Oh, okay.
From the one, from the oil.
Oh, yeah. Sigmund, you're able to, when you get back to the Weisbrook, you're able to kind of dip in very briefly and just get all that oil off of you.
Okay. Challenging endurance. Tenacious doesn't apply to this. Yeah.
Yeah,
One round.
that's not a big deal. That being said, I need all of you to roll me an easy. I need all of you to roll me an easy cool check, except for Astaroth. Astaroth, it is going to be. Actually, sorry, I lied. Average cool check. Astaroth, yours is challenging.
Okay.
You are testing for corruption
Oh.
because you came face to face with something drenched in it. If you fail, gain a corruption point.
I would like to reroll.
Oh, I got 2.
Did you add the... I guess you still would have failed.
Sotek hasn't been adding conditions. You have to go into your character sheet under effects, and you can look at the tired face, and you click the 0 beneath it, and it will increase it by 1.
Well, that being said, you wouldn't need fatigues for this particular check, but it's not going to matter anyway. You all, those of you that failed pretty reliably. All right. All of your fatigues are removed. You are able to get a good night's rest, despite any potential nightmares. And you awake in the morning, and you hear a loud thumping sound as Yosef is working his way across the boat. You hear him going, "Wake up, lads! Wake up! Time to set off!" I also need to move the calendar forward.
Lord, aren't we trying to hunt that thing?
That is what you hired us for, yes. I was not expecting it to actually be here.
Aye, but just because it's here doesn't mean that it's going to stay here. That cave was very obviously not its home. Must have been drawn in by the fire, perhaps the commotion. But it is definitely not staying at that cave. It had nothing to do with that cave.
More likely scent.
Perhaps. What makes you say that, though?
Wolmar barges in on your little group chat and says, "Sausages! Any of you lads want sausages?"
Yes.
He kind of looks
Thank you.
looks at the four of you as you're all like taking some food, and he goes, "Rough night?"
Oh, and hard days ahead.
You know that Manticore Lenny was looking for?
Aye.
We found it.
And I'm the emperor. Listen, if you're gonna go out and drink, don't, make sure that you take care of yourself enough that you could do work in the morning. Dorthandrel, Lenny, we need you on deck. We're leaving. We're gonna make the shopping fest. We gotta go.
Walmart,
Yeah,
look at me. We're not lying.
Roll a. How do you say that more of like we're not lying or no, we're not lying?
More of a charm check.
Okay, go ahead. Roll average charm. He kind of looks at you and just kind of goes, all right. He doesn't. You don't really get the sense that he necessarily believes you, but he also doesn't challenge you any further. He goes,
I said,
all right, well, I'm gonna go check on Elsa.
Dorothander will take the sausage. Look to Astaroth. I said scent because it has a saddle and a master. And he's going to eat the sausage and go to get the ship ready to move.
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
Yeah, to the other three of you, that is news.
Yeah. Did you see someone on it?
No, but it's possibly some sorcerer of chaos. Based off how steeped in... He'll pause and consider the right word to use for humans. chaos magic.
You could sense it.
You hear from up above, Alf! Lenny! What do I pay you for? Get up here!
I'm coming! And I'll rush up.
You start doing boating things. It is not difficult. Your mind is elsewhere, but setting off is not hard, and soon the bear belly is moving away from the dock and beginning to advance its way down the Weissbrook, and you are once more on the move.
Wilmar, can I buy a carrot from you for a penny?
You can just have the carrot.
Thank you. I toss it overboard. And think in my mind, Mathlan, keep your beast sated.
All right. So, you were on the wrong layer.
So did Dorthandro and Lenny? They're out on the deck, right?
Yes. Y'all have set off now. You are able to talk amongst yourselves as you drift down the Weiss you're on the Bogen now, making your way towards Bogenhofen. And as you're kind of convening, Yosef looks down at the lot of you, and he already has started with his first wine bottle of the day, and he kind of looks and goes, well, y'all are a rough, sorry lot. You get into a bar fight.
Yes.
We only
Yes, we
wish
did.
we got into a bar fight.
Only Astroth got into a bar fight.
This is true.
Sigmund! As you're pulling away from Weissbrook and it's fading in the distance, you do hear bells. Loud back in Weissbrook. Bells that seem to indicate some kind of alarm. And Yosef kind of squints and looks back and goes, oh, what's all that about?
You don't have any friends in Weissbrook, do you, Yosef?
I know a few lads over by the docks, a couple that work with the Dockhanders Guild, but I don't know if I'd call them friends.
Well, so we saw that Manticore Astroth's and Lenny's hunting.
He sips from his wine and kind of like looks at you, the four of you, expectantly. Like he waits for another shoe to drop. He takes another sip. And then he goes, bloomin' hell. You're being honest. You saw the Manticore.
I almost
Yes.
saw his am.
Well, where was it?
About an hour north of Weissbrook.
Gotta say, you look mighty healthy for four lads encountering a Manticore.
We ran.
Understandable. I would have run. In fact, I once ran from a merworm that had worked its way up the Reich.
This man has completely forgotten about the attack happening on the town right behind him.
Dorothy goes, oh, do tell.
Astaroth just walks away.
He starts to kind of he starts just getting into a story that begins with him encountering a maiden who had the upper body of a lithe young voluptuous woman and the lower body of a fish singing on a rock.
We've heard this one.
And then the story starts to devolve into once he and the lads on the boat had whistled at her, she did not take to one of the things that a younger uncouth lad had said and had turned into a horrible monster that started to pursue them down the Reich until they eventually managed to outwit her by making enough offerings to the river gods by throwing all of their food overboard, vegetables, meat, everything, salt, anything they could think of, and eventually that placated the river god enough that she stopped pursuing them, and surely had nothing to do with the fact that the poor creature was, if allegedly it was true, was being pelted by all sorts of different kinds of rotten food stuff, and eventually just gave up the chase out of irritation. But he definitely attributes the story more to his devout faith in the river gods and making sure to always observe their various rites and traditions and not because of any other reason. In this story that, of course, definitely happened.
In the story that definitely happened. I'm going to tell him a story about merworms.
Your story is probably much more accurate. In any event, as the bells ringing kind of fade off in the distance, Wolmar does come up to you specifically. Who was it that told him? Sigmund. He comes up to Sigmund and he says, those bells, those were warning bells.
Better hope they've got a whole company of handgunners in Weisbrook. Otherwise, it's just hoping you don't get caught at sight.
He pales and just sort of nods and goes, "Oh, all right."
But what are we to do? Should we turn around? Do we keep going? I don't even know what to do anymore. We're obviously not equipped to handle this Manticore, and it's far beyond a simple Manticore. We're heading to the Stogenhof for the festival, but we don't even know if it's going to go there now, because if Northandrel's correct, and it is some type of chaos-controlled Manticore,
Chaos!
It's being sent places.
Yosef goes, chaos! Well, what's all this about chaos?
Mind yourself.
Yeah, apparently the Manticore has been tamed.
You can't tame a Manticore.
Say that.
Apparently it
Whoever
has.
puts the saddle on its back.
Yeah.
You know, I once heard a story about a noble who tried to tame a Manticore. To shreds, they say.
Just shreds, you say.
But there needs to be slain, but the people of the Empire can't wait for us to go out and gain 50 years of experience and become grizzled war veterans. But we obviously, I don't think, could handle it on our own. We could try. Part of me wants to turn around. Part of me doesn't know what to do. I'm just at a loss.
It'll be
Part
alright,
of you
lad.
wants to let off another shriek and run.
Yes.
Weisbrook's got a plenty good garrison. They'll be fine, lad. Take more than a beast to harm them.
And Bogenhofen's got a bigger one, right?
Bogenhofen has got a bigger one.
Who's to say it will go to Bogenhofen?
He kind of looks and he says, well, hopefully it won't. How am I supposed to sell all my wine if there's a monster running around?
Hopefully it won't, but if it does, there's a better chance to take a stand there.
Listen, I'm sure you all had a long, hard night. Encountering a creature like that is tough on anyone. But I'm sure... saddle... Did anyone else see this saddle?
It was raining and it was at a bit of a distance.
Are you sure that's what you saw? Like maybe it was like a weird patch of fur, or bone plate or something.
There were
It had
bones woven into its fur.
Good old skulls and such.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it just has a thing for that. What if it just
Maybe it has a
what if it
particular
just
kind
gets-
of lice that likes to weave skulls into the fur it inhabits.
Exactly. I've heard some Bretonnian maidens have something like that, if you know what I mean.
Bretonnians
I don't
have
think-
skulls in their hair?
He goes, well, I was talking more about the lice. But anyway, why don't y'all just take it easy for a bit? Relax. We'll be in Bogenhofen in a few days.
I can do that. I can relax for a bit at least.
If any of you want to, amidst your role-playing, you can take an endeavor during the last little length of this journey. Though you cannot take like the money-making endeavor. You don't have to do it at this exact moment. You can do it later, but if you want to kind of look at that while you're chatting, you may take a endeavor on your river travel, because it's going to take you about 4 days to get to Ogenhofen.
For the end. We're running out of time. Turn to Sigmund and say a word,
Yes.
and pull him back into a room. And I will look at him, not agitated eyes, because I love Sigmund. I have an incredible amount of respect for him, but just perturbed eyes and say, he was a bandit and a bounty hunter and a criminal. The punishment by law is death. He asked for mercy. Killing him was a better mercy than him going to prison and rotting in a moldy, damp cell and being mutilated by guards and abused.
Well, okay, so I will say that although you're not 100% sure of Imperial law, the vastly most likely scenario, had he been arrested, is that he would have just immediately been hanged.
Oh, the outcome would be the same.
Right. The outcome would have been the same, except for we could have questioned him. We could have understood their operation. We could have maybe found out the identity of that man in black that is now apparently hunting us.
Yes, that is true. And I was very much banking on catching the fellow. And yes, we lost sight of him, but had the Manticore not shown up, I'm sure we could have perhaps found another trail. All the events that happened after the fact were completely unprecedented, and I was not expecting any of that.
Yes,
Yes, we could have interrogated him, but he committed crimes. He attacked us. He was a criminal, and I saw it as my duty to enact the law and execute him. Yeah. Whether or not he was hanged at the gallows or thrown in prison, his outcome would be the same. So I apologize that we did not get to question the fellow. I'm sure we will find that gentleman again, because he will definitely be back. And probably with more goons.
And Astral,
and I also, yes.
Since you've been made a squire, you've been a fucking idiot. Just because you're a squire now doesn't mean you are any different than the day before you became a squire.
Yeah, this is true. I don't think I'm any different. I'm sorry that you think so.
Running your mouth in an entire tavern, trying to overturn the imperial edicts set forth.
I just don't feel that was an actual edict. And I know your ties to the Empire are strong. It just doesn't make sense to me. But alas, I apologize it caused inconvenience for you.
You're lucky that fruit was the worst you got from them.
I intended to have more of a positive effect, so. According to my teachings and the teachings of the order that I'm now a part of. But I know we all have different opinions on things. And again, I'm sorry that it caused you some inconvenience.
Look, there's some that could say because I had that similar looking fellow, one of us must be a mutant or something. I mean, you should strike me down?
No, I know you're not a mutant. I've known you long enough to know that that's not true. The other fellow, who knows? The other fellow very well could have been a mutant, but he's dead now, as the mutant should be. But I know you're not a mutant.
I'm just saying, there's more.
That was such a sidestep of that question.
Yeah.
I would not strike you down.
No, I liked your answer. You don't have to change it. It was good.
Just be aware that until otherwise, that is the law. That you can't strike someone down solely based on the fact that they are physically deformed. Those mutants we killed in the woods, we are absolutely in our right to attack them, as we caught them in the act of murdering others. So I'm not saying you can't kill a mutant. I'm saying, like, this edict is just saying you can't attack them just because they are. I think you might have misinterpreted that.
No, I don't believe I misinterpreted it. I just don't believe it's actually from Altdorf. I don't believe it's actually from the Emperor. But that's just my belief, and I could be very well be wrong. It is something that I shall look into when I regain my composure after these events.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't seem right to me. It doesn't seem like something that I believe the Emperor would say. But only time will tell. But alas, you are right. I shall follow the edict until proven otherwise.
Tell you what, we can stop by. What's like a judge called in the Empire, or like someone who
A magistrate.
Yeah, we can go to the magistrate's office in Bogenhofen and make sure that they've received it and they've confirmed that it is actually from Altdorf and has the Emperor's seal on it.
There 100% will be one.
Yeah. So this is me trying to let's go and double check if you're that concerned about it.
Yeah. It's a good place to start.
No, I gotta go find Dorothandrel. I need him to write me a letter and I want to see if he can teach me letters.
I actually might need him to write me a letter too.
Paige! Okay. All right. We are pretty much at the end of today's session, so why don't y'all figure out what endeavors you want to do? And that will be it for today. And we will start off next time with y'all arriving in Bogenhofen.
I want to. There's a endeavor to like learn a talent that isn't part of your class skills, right?
Let me open up to the endeavors part of my book here. Instead of just sitting here twiddling my thumbs like an idiot. Let's see. Because I like endeavors, and if you use them purely as written, you literally never get to use them in this entire adventure, which does not make any goddamn sense. Oh, though, do I want to bother? Nah, I'm not going to bother with the events table, because not enough has happened. Okay, so, let's see. Dorothandrel, you do not have to do elf improvement, by the way, for this. It's not enough time for that.
Alright, it's only when there's 3, correct?
Yes. So, yes, you have to have at least 3 endeavors. Okay, so, y'all can do... You can change your career, if you would wish. You can consult an expert. Which finding an expert is a little tricky. Let me just double check what this does. Oh no, y'all, that's not gonna be that great. You could do crafting if you have a crafting skill. Training endeavor allows you to train a skill or characteristic outside of your career. Yeah. So you can do training or unusual learning. You're not gonna have enough time for unusual learning, but you can do training. Training's not hard. So you could do training from anybody on the boat, including your fellow party members, if you so wish.
Can I train to learn to cook?
Let me double check. Yes, you can. Yes, Greta can teach you through all of it's like learning from Gordon Ramsay. She's incredibly foul-mouthed and a little bit more mean than she has any need to be, but nonetheless she can be an effective teacher for you. Basically you let's see. So roll me a d10. All right. So the amount of experience points that you end up putting into cooking plus 7 is how much brass you have to pay her for the training.
Is there anyone on the boat that can teach the heal skill?
Yes. Walmart can teach you a bit of healing.
I have it as well.
I would advise learning it from your party member. Actually, no. You can learn it from Walmart. We'll just say Walmart's better at it. That way, your money isn't just going back into the party pool. Roll a d10.
Okay.
Okay, so it'll cost you 1 plus however much experience. Actually, it's going to be 1 plus 2 per experience point because healing's a little more complicated.
Yep.
So, for instance, if you put like 3 experience into healing, it would cost you 7 brass.
Okay.
How do I add the skill?
So what you'll do is you will go to your character sheet, and for you, because you have to add the skill manually, you're gonna open up your career, so sailor, and then in skills,
Thank you.
Just drag it in.
or that.
And then there's a button you can click to allow advancing despite the fact it's an untrained skill
Nice.
that I can do for you real fast.
You've been smarter than me.
Yeah. So if you go
Thank
to
you.
the skill and go to details, there's a force advancement indicator, and that will make the plus mark show up so that you can buy advances in it.
So just
Okay.
from my knowledge, and we'll talk about that outside of session. It's fine. And just a reminder, Lenny, for every point you put in, it's going to be that much plus 7. So if you did like 3 points, it would be 10 brass.
Okay.
Dorthandrel and Astaroth, what are you doing?
Dorthandel's going to be learning the latest gossip from the boats that we passed, or the latest news.
Perfect. Roll me a average gossip check.
Sotek, I don't have experience to level it up. How does that?
You will get experience at the end
I
of
will
the
give
session.
you experience in just a moment.
Awesome.
Dorthandrel, you hear from people passing by, making their way back, or leaving very regrettably, having to leave Bogenhofen before the Schaffenfest kicks off. You actually hear a pretty interesting rumor that apparently people are claiming that the sewers have been sealed off from the public. Like, they have been completely sealed, and no one is allowed in or out, which is very weird.
That is quite strange. Who cleans them then?
Nobody, apparently, at the moment. They're saying nobody is cleaning them, and that they're not even patrolled anymore. There are things living down there. What the hell is the town council up to? Have they lost their minds?
Dorothan will spend the rest of the journey thinking how much he was going to want to avoid the septic system of this town.
Probably a reason.
And how much the whole town must stink by now.
Hopefully they have good. Hopefully they have good covers. Astaroth, what are you doing?
I'd like to learn how to read.
That unfortunately is not going to be viable because there's not enough time. And that is a talent, not a skill.
Yeah, that's why I had to switch to learning a skill.
What about ship stuff? Like, how about the ship?
Oh yeah, easy. Do you want to learn for this particular kind of ship, or do you want to learn a different kind of ship?
No, this ship's fine.
Awesome. Yep. Roll a d10. For 6 brass plus 2 for each advance that you take. Joseph is more than happy. Actually, you know what? It's Joseph. Even though it should be 2, he'll do it for 1. So 6 plus 1 for each level or each point of experience you put in, Yosef is delighted to teach you how to sail for a barge.
I like how healing was the cheapest learning this trip.
Well, it should have been the most expensive, but I guess Walmart is just like, oh yeah, you're fucking fighting manticores? Yeah, you need to know this.
So is that just under?
It is more expensive because it's an advanced skill.
Yes, but
What?
they only Sigmund only rolled a 1 for the additional cost, so it ends up being the cheapest.
No, because it's shillings.
Oh, did I misread that? Is it shillings? I thought it just said double.
Oh, just double. Never mind.
I was gonna say. Oh. Yeah, no,
I don't think anyone has ever bought things in my game that didn't cost shillings after being doubled.
That being said, there will be stuff that y'all are going to be spending a lot of money on in the very near future, but you're going to get off easy because these people like you.
Yep.
All right. Let me reward y'all experience real quick. What is it? /XP?
/EXP, space the XP amount, then space and whatever tag you want to give it.
This is the 14th session?
Well, we were off by 1 number last time.
Yeah, I think last time you said 12.
So you said it was sailing barge, right?
Yes. All right.
And it says it still costs experience points to put in.
Yes.
It does.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure.
And
then
it will also
brass.
cost you money. Okay, so
Okay.
the experience is available. You can accept it in the chat. And then y'all accomplished your short-term party. You did it.
Yay!
You found the Manticore. Don't sound all so happy. You got what you wanted, okay? Maybe you got what you wished for. Oh gosh. Okay, there's a couple things I need to do with y'all. Okay. Astaroth, I'm gonna give you your personal ambition this time, but in the future, we need to make sure that's different from your party ambition.
Okay.
How much is it for a short-term party? 50?
50.
And then what is personal short-term? Also 50?
Personal short term is also 50.
Okay, so I'm gonna give Astaroth. So this is Astaroth only. So that is only for Astaroth. Nobody else click that.
Mm.
That is for the other 3 of you. Astaroth, do not click that. Other 3 of you do.
Okay.
Did anyone else accomplish their personal short term?
No, because I forgot to set one.
Nope.
Liddy, make sure you accept the 50 short term.
Nope.
Okay, so party. Let's actually discuss this very, very briefly. Party long-term goal. Do y'all want to decide on one yet? So this is like what your goal is for the campaign. Like it could be like kill the Manticore, or like kill the Manticore's rider. It doesn't have to be if y'all don't want it. Actually, I mean, y'all can change it in the future if you want. Is there anything that y'all as a party feel you want to accomplish?
Meet the Manticore again.
That is not a long-term goal. That would be
I
very
think-
short.
Yeah, I think killing the Manticore would probably just dissolve the party, so it makes it
Yeah,
good
well, so
long-term.
a long-term goal is like would probably end the campaign.
Just kill it.
Okay, so for
Kill
your,
it and it's a rider.
for your long-term party ambition, you can just put kill the Manticore, and that'll suffice.
And the rider.
Let's not get too ambitious here.
And
Yeah.
whoever the rider serves.
Okay. I don't think.
Kill God. now we're role playing.
Let's go find the gas.
All right. Then for short-term party goal, does anyone have anything in mind for a potential short-term party?
Make it to the Schaffenfest.
That is a little too short.
I was thinking, figure out who this rider is. More info about him.
So the idea behind a short-term party ambition is it's something you should feel that you can accomplish between 1 to 3 sessions that might not be doable, but is probably doable. So, like, discover the identity of the Manticore's rider is a reasonable one. Any other thoughts?
What's it? Hunter, the black leather guy, crossbow guy.
See, I figure out who that fuck is.
Yeah. Like, shake him off our trail.
For reasons I cannot reveal yet, I have to reject that one.
Okay.
Kill the fucking black leather.
That could be a good personal one. Personal short term. But how about just think about it? we'll reconvene next session and decide at the start. And Astaroth, think about what you want your personal short term to be for next session. By the way, if anyone wants to change their personal short term, that is also fine. We can discuss those at the start of next session. But that's it. Great job. Awesome session today, guys.
Thank you.
Hopefully y'all had fun. I really, really enjoyed y'all's role playing today, especially. I think y'all did great.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Congrats on getting out of that fight with like literally just a scratch.
Easy peasy.
I was really expecting to get somebody there, like deal some damage, and all I did was kill my own guy and burn nothing. Great. All right. Thanks everyone for watching on Twitch.